Thank you for tuning into English Christian Times. July 6th. Saint Maria Goretti. Saint Maria Goretti is unique, in that, she is the youngest canonized saint in the Church. She died tragically, on July 6, 1902, at the age of 11. Born into poverty, her father moved the family, when Maria was just 6 years old, from the east side of Italy, near Ancona, to the west side, near Nettuno, in hopes of escaping the grinding poverty that was gripping the area. Just 3 years later, when Maria was 9, her father died tragically. It fell to her, at that time, to raise her 5 siblings, while her mother worked the fields, to produce the crops, with which, they would both pay the rent, and feed themselves. This was a terrible time of trial, and suffering for the whole family. For Maria, it was especially difficult. Aside from having the responsibility of caring for her family, she had to also cook and clean for her 2 next-door neighbors Giovanni Serenelli and his son, Alessandro, who assisted her mother with the farm tasks. It was also during this time that Alessandro began to develop an impure liking for Maria. The big 20-year-old would say rude and crude things to her, things that were inappropriate and embarrassing, and that would cause her to run away. However, at a certain point, he began to make direct sexual advances towards her, demanding her virginity, and threatening her with violence for non-compliance. Finally, after many months of this, Alessandro forced himself upon Maria in an attempt to rape her. Though she prevented him from violating her, Alessandro brutally stabbed her numerous times. Maria died the next day, in the midst of horrendous infection, brought on by her lacerations. Her last words were, "I forgive Alessandro Serenelli. And I want him with me in heaven forever." During his prison sentence, Maria appeared to Alessandro, and forgave him. That act of mercy, and forgiveness, that act of love, filled Alessandro with contrition for his crime. It was also a turning point for him, where grace entered his heart. From that point on, he lived a beautiful and converted life of holiness, eventually becoming a Franciscan lay brother.